السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. ربي أني مسني الضر وأنت أرحم الراحمين. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين. They asked me to read just last time.
She asked me to read now.
Yeah. So they asked me mine.
Of course. I mean, I wouldn't mind.
So I think we started last week the fourth point, and we started the first paragraph, and then we are the great majority. The paragraph starts with the great majority.
The great majority of people cannot grasp abstract truth unless they are not presented to them in forms that are familiar for them. Therefore,
we can digest it. So you can, again, I think it is understandable, but important principle. So we can really slowly and understand it better.
Therefore,
from the beginning, this is an important sentence.
The great majority of people cannot grasp abstract truths unless they are not presented to them in forms that are familiar to them.
Yeah. Okay. Now.
Therefore, in presenting abstract truth, comparison, similes, metaphors, parables, or allegories are used. In addition, the great majority of people tend to accept as true what they perceive to be true with their 5 external senses. For this reason, since even preliminary truth and basic laws concerning physical sciences had not yet been established at the earliest period of its establishment, the Sharia preferred to remain concise in these sciences in order not to confuse people. However, it did not refrain from hinting a certain basic truth concerning them.
So hinting, it didn't refrain from hinting at certain basic truths
concerning them.
That then refers to
the truth,
the sciences. Yeah. Now there are some questions here that we can concentrate. One is let's start from this abstract truths. Abstract truths. Can I ask a question? If we understand Sharia as the laws, principles of governing one's individual life and social life, if we understand Sharia, are they abstract?
Isn't it contradictory? Abstract truths?
Why? You are going into abstract truths. Now, first let's stay on abstract first and then abstract truths. Now, abstract. If we understand Sharia as consisting of only laws which cover the personal life and social life, including the rituals, are they abstract?
No, they're practical.
Sorry?
They're more practical than abstract.
Abstract?
They're more practical than abstract.
Yeah. Then abstract. Can you say that to a certain extent they are abstract?
I think they become very literal.
Well, then it can be the law. Laws cannot be abstract. But maybe Constitution may be abstract. Do you see the difference? Constitution, the principles are maybe abstract concepts. But when it comes to the practice, they must be concrete or obvious so that everybody can practice it. So when the text says abstract truths, what does it refer to? What does the page 15, we are studying page 15. And here, almost in the middle, abstract, under the second paragraph on the fourth point. Got it? What does abstract truth, what the text refers to, not necessarily the abstract truth. Now we came to your point. When the text says abstract truth,
Does it refer to the Quran?
uh,
So basically the constitution of the
constitution
Sharia?
of now, of course, the Sharia, the laws, and everything are extracted from the Quran. So when you say Quran, everything. But what is the abstract truth? Let's say in the Quran, because we are studying the Quran, the message that the Prophet came with. So we are trying to understand whether this Prophet is a apostle, the one pretends to, but not really.
Imposter?
Imposter. The prophet is an imposter, saying, writing the book himself, but presenting as if it is from God. Or it is really true what is it. That's what we are trying to understand. The prophet, now in the case that we are living in, as far as our era is concerned, Muhammad. Whether he is an imposter, or he is a genuine in his claim to be the prophet, to be the messenger appointed by God and taught by God, not by himself. No, that's why we can say the Quran, as far as our subject is concerned. Otherwise, we can say all kinds of revelations. All the prophets claim to have received or received the revelation from the Creator, generalize it, but we are studying the case of Muhammad now. Now, at this stage, we studied the general concept of the messengership prophethood earlier on. Now we came to this point. So, what does the author refer to when it says abstract truths mentioned in the Quran? Or you have your question still is a legitimate question. Can we say something abstract but at the same time truth? Are you still asking this question? Or did you get it?
I think I got it, but can we say that what he's referring to is, for example, like the concept of God, the unicity of God, the prophethood, which might be like abstract to any people, unlike maybe like practical side of the Sharia, which
unlike the practical side of the Sharia. Now, of course, if something is not the practical side of the Sharia, for example, praying, for example, not gambling, not drinking alcohol, consuming alcohol, this kind of things, they are not abstract. You don't drink alcohol, don't gamble, don't do anything on chance, throwing the arrows. It means really gambling. Don't don't do that. Are they abstract? Don't drink alcohol is abstract. So what does the author refer to here?
The source of these laws.
But as far as the Quran is concerned, that's correct, but generalize it. Use a general.
The concept of God is abstract.
For example. But these are examples.
Basically, laws that govern things that we can't rationalize.
Sorry?
Laws that govern things that we can't rationalize as humans, based on what we see.
Well, we said laws cannot be abstract. But laws cannot be abstract. If something is abstract, cannot be a law. It must be specific in order to be applied to our practical life. For example, don't drink alcohol. What is abstract? Yeah? So, what do you think, as far as the Quran is concerned, what is abstract? One example, Tariq gave.
What I understand from abstract truth is, I guess, the side of, or I guess the meaning in the reality of something, which isn't bound to time in specific. I can't say time and space, but at least time for sure.
Yeah. So the meaning.
The meaning.
So meaning, the concrete world refers to
The abstractness.
because the meaning is abstract. We cannot really materially handle it.
Right.
But it is human interpretation.
And that, for me, is the truth part. The moment you mix the meaning with a human interpretation, that becomes definition of abstract truth at that point. Because the moment you're looking at something from your perspective, that is your truth. It might not be another person's truth. Yeah.
So as far as the human interpretation of the concrete examples of creation is concerned, this interpretation by nature has to be abstract because you cannot really make it concrete. So the Quran mostly tells us about what? Abstract truth. It means what the universe refers to. But of course, it guides the human mind how to get the truth in the interpretation of the concrete matter. How they refer to, or what they refer to. So it gives the guidance. While it is giving guidance, of course, the speaker in the Quran is aware that human beings are liable to misinterpret. That's why God interferes into this matter and guides people about abstract truths, not misguided or distorted interpretations. So it's a guidance. While it is doing this guidance in order to get the truth according to the, of course, claim of the Quran. Yeah, it says this is the true interpretation. This is the only true interpretation you can extract from the concrete examples. Now, human beings may have some prejudices, may have some ambitions, may have they might have been indoctrinated in a certain way by themselves or by the society. So the Quran claims that I'm going to clear all of this misinterpretation of the signs of the universe and guide you to reach the right point, but right purpose of the creation, or the right understanding of the signs of the creation. And I'm going to help you about this. And when you follow the way I am presenting to you, it will not contradict yourself, and you check yourself. First, you may think, for example, most people, when they look at the universe without the guidance of the Quran, they find it amazing. They find it very sophisticated, extremely sophisticated. But they cannot attribute it to anything. They cannot attribute this to anything in the universe. And they are puzzled. What they do not, they try to interpret the meaning as referring to something of the part of the universe. Because human beings cannot go beyond the limits of this universe by themselves, because we are bound to it. Unless we are taught, we are educated how to make it, we don't know. For example, if you, mother tongue is different. If you don't know, let's say, I don't know, Italian or Japanese, unless you are taught, can you learn Japanese? Unless you are not the mother language is different. Unless you are taught, you don't know. But when you are taught, you learn it and you speak and it makes sense. Like this one. Although it is innate in us, but we need to be taught. It means we need to be pointed out. But this way, think this way, it makes sense. And you will be happy with it. Of course, the problem is, while we are interpreting the concrete examples and getting or reaching the abstract truth by way of interpreting this concrete matter, it is not easy to grasp these abstract notions unless they are presented to us in a way that with our 5 external senses, we can understand and be convinced that they are truth. They understand it. It's a long sentence. I don't like long sentences, but as I was thinking, it became long. Now, in order to understand that something is true or not, what we have to do, we have to be satisfied by our experience through our 5 senses. We have to be satisfied with that. So it must be presented in the form of what? Comparison, or similes, or metaphors, or parables, or allegories made within the conditions of this universe, so that I can really observe it, I can really assimilate it by using my 5 senses. It's a very materialist 5 senses, because 5 senses deal with only matter. I cannot see God, I cannot hear God, or hereafter. I don't see hereafter anyway. Yeah? So I cannot touch hereafter. For example, next creation. I cannot touch even the creation, the act of creating. I cannot touch it. I found the things exist, that's it. So the abstract truths must be presented to me within the conditions of my real material life. So, but Of course, when I look at the similes or metaphors or comparisons between two elements of the matter, I discern, I become aware of the difference. Yeah, for two things. For example, I can make the distinction between accidental happenings, random happenings, and purposeful happenings. By my reasoning, by experiencing the world. For example, I cannot say that this table, simple, the simplest cannot be come into existence by itself. Neither in metaphor or in its form, shape, color, design, cannot come into existence by itself. So I can understand it by observing this one. By using my five senses. Looking at the shape, looking at the height, looking at the material used, and it was designed and the combination of the wood and metal, and also the wheels, so that make it easy to move right from one place to another, taking. And the lower part is metal, it must be strong. And the upper part is not metal, it is somehow warmer, pleasant to use. The woods type things, not necessarily. And it is also covered with something which is very strong, yeah, deliberately made, manufactured by conscious, intelligent beings, knowing what they are doing. Simple. And when I see the size, it is adjusted to the size of the door so that you can get in and out. And also the height, it is adjusted to human usage. Sitting on the chair, it must be practical when adjusted. Knowing, knowing who is going to use it. I say, yeah, really? It needs an intelligent design, intelligent maker, intelligent engineer. Then it really needs to become like this. I cannot attribute this to a simple table, let alone the living beings or living cells, simple table. And within my own observation, with my five senses, I can see that, yeah, the table was made by a conscious being. A human being is a conscious, intelligent being, intelligent not to create, but to turn the things into certain types or forms within the conditions of the universe. If someone doesn't know the conditions of the universe, doesn't apply the order of the universe, cannot make the table. No, he must know something else as well. If someone doesn't know the human needs, if someone doesn't know the market conditions, so it cannot really produce this table and present it to the market. It means really a conscious, deliberate, intelligent agent. I am saying it. Intelligent people sit there, draw the plan or sketch of the table, and use the laws of the universe as much as this person knows, and make the table by applying again to the rules of the order of the universe. For example, you cannot really bend the wood with your hand. You have to have a machine to force it because you know the strength of the metal, etc., or how to really cover it up, paint it. They are all they all need conscious makeup, right? Conscious makeup. That is the comparison given to me within the conditions of what? This universe that I can observe with my five senses. Only then, by using this comparison, this, whatever you call it, I think this is a comparison. So by making this comparison between an ordinary action there and also consciously designed and created, made thing, definitely requires then conscious, intelligent agent. So now the Quran says, hey, God, you can know this, huh? You cannot say that the table cannot come into existence without a purposeful, conscious agent behind it. So, simple example again. How do you think a spider came into existence? How do you think the fly came to existence? Bee, honeybee came into existence. Huh? How do you think that the stars and galaxies came into existence? After using the comparison, giving the comparison. Without conscious, intelligent agent, now I know that anything meaningful, purposefully made, must have a conscious agent behind it. That is the comparison I'm experiencing in this world. Of course, there must be a conscious agent behind the existence of a fly. The Quran gives very simple examples. Existence of a fly, existence of a cow, camel, I don't know. Very simple things that everybody sees. That doesn't speak about what is going on within the cell. I don't know. Only the specialists know. So it doesn't give this example. But making a general statement, if you really study the cell or the atom or the particles, you conclude that now it needs a conscious agent as well for its existence, but it needs a speciality. But general public are the majority of the population among humankind. So there's very specific examples which need expertise to understand are not given in the Quran. Look at the sun, how it is turning, how it is emitting light. It is moving, don't you see? Very simple. Although we think that, we know that sun is not moving, but the earth is rotating. But human beings say that sun is setting, sun is rising, sun is not doing anything. The earth is rotating as far as the physical conditions of this world is concerned. These conditions are concerned. But that doesn't matter whether sun is turning or earth is rotating. Doesn't matter. The purpose is it needs a conscious agent behind the existence of this motion. Because of my experience with the table, let alone with the computer or something more complicated, with the existence of with the example of a simple table, I comforted the computer, yeah, I need a conscious agent where I can find it. Very simple. But can I find it here somewhere? Where is it? The tree is growing out of the soil and water. And how many kinds of different fruits and vegetables and plants grow out of soil? And they say 6 million. All of them are perfect. All living beings are perfect within their own creation. And none of them is lacking anything. So it needs a conscious agent. And it's a typical example, the relationship between the moon, the sun, and the earth, and other planets, as much as we discover. Doesn't matter whether 12 or 10 or 9, 6, doesn't matter. But what I can see the relationship between with the naked eye, I don't have to be an expert. There's a relationship between the moon and the sun and the earth. And everything is adjusted accordingly. And it's not independent, they exist, and they are all connected to each other. I can conclude that the other parts of the universe must be so, because there is no collision, there is no disorder in the universe, perfectly working. What is the conscious agent behind the existence of such a wonderful universe? After using this simple example, Quran gives a simple example, shows them how to think, and makes this agent, conscious, intelligent agent, behind the existence of the universe in general and every particular thing with it must exist. But there is no such thing within the universe. Well, of course, if I'm studying the table, while I reflected on the intelligent agent, I didn't see it. But I studied it and I concluded that it needs an intelligent agent. And in my practical life, I have really observed within the conditions of the universe, there is an intelligent agent here in the human being. But I cannot see the intelligent agent in the universe who is the cause of the existence of this universe. What's that? You start wondering. That's what the Quran teaches, how the Quran speaks and teaches and guides the human mind, how it should work. It's very simple. And other evidences for other pillars, other matters related to abstract concepts. For example, the existence of angels, existence of revelation. The Quran provides some sort of simple examples, but we have to watch out. We have to bear in mind that Quran never exposes himself, presented itself as to be blindly accepted. What? Use your reason. I'm giving you the example, and it is you now. Go back to the universe and try to understand what is the meaning of this universe. And there's a contradiction between me and the matter. Matter has no meaning. It has no, consciousness. Matter has no knowledge, but the things are appearing as if they are made with a conscious being. And the conscious being is not there. But they are continuously renewed. What is happening? You start wondering. And you come up with the concept of angels. Practicing, executing the will of the Creator according to His will, executing it, and making the universe so perfectly present. They are present, the universe is present in front of my eyes. So that you continue, what's the meaning of this universe? So wonderful, so perfect, pointing to a Creator who is really absolutely wise, absolutely powerful, absolutely knowledgeable. But as far as I'm concerned, there seems to be no wisdom in the existence of such a huge, complex, complicated, but perfectly ordered existence of the universe. What is the point? Because I am here for, I used to say for 50, 60 years. Now I'm somewhere around 70. I say 80, 100 years. So, what will live at the most 100 years and die and perish away? It contradicts. But I don't want to. I don't want to die. I don't want to persevere. What is there? What is the point? Making a huge place and putting somebody in it, and second day, without air, why did you put it? Why did you put me here? Why did you make this perfect palace if you are not going to treat me according to the perfection of the palace? It means I have to treat it comfortable here, everything is prepared for me. Yeah, that's the palace. But they don't let you enjoy. You are taken away. What is the point? Then Quran gives a very simple physical example. Look at the seed growing into a tree, and then tree dies, and there is a seed in it again, grows another tree, and the creation continues within the order of the universe. You see, you are coming here and growing and dying, but definitely there will be another type of existence for you, but your existence is going to be all the qualities of your existence are going to be preserved in the seed of this tree. What is your seed? As a tree example, because the Quran gives a very simple example. You will be taken out of the earth, because body is that human beings see death as body going into the grave. Yeah? You don't see anything else. But like the seed goes into the grave of the earth, and a tree comes out. Who's making it? Why? Why did such things are made in this universe and presented to human mind to reflect on them? Why? It bothers. And it says that's an example for your resurrection. So you shouldn't bother that how this is going to be. There are examples taking place in front of your own eyes, and you experience it, you see it, and the one who does this can do the same thing to you. Why not? Why shouldn't he? Because it is doing it, whatever it is doing, this conscious agent, doing this and presenting to my observation, to my experience as a human being, definitely is trying to give a message to me that I need. It's an example for me. And as far as I am concerned, it may be an example for other creatures, and not my business. I'm interested in my own responsibility, in my own business. So, look, there must be a meaning for it. And the Quran says, yeah, that's an example of a second creation, second type of creation. Your seed of humanity will grow into a tree. I'm promising. Because in your human side, you have a seed which encompasses within it eternal expectation, or encompasses within it expectation of an eternal existence. Don't you see that? You don't want to die. I don't want to die. And I keep going to hospital. I don't want to die. But I'm sure I will die, but I don't want to die. But I will die. The expectation of eternal existence is given within us. But we have to use the analogies, comparisons, whatever, metaphors, or what I said, it says parables, allegories, in order to make sense of it. And I will say, oh yeah, it must be true, really. The function of the Quran, what is expected of the speech of God, is to give me the cues within the material world so that I will understand the meaning behind this material world, referring to an absolute infinite world. It is not an easy task. It is not an easy task, but revelation makes it easy for human beings to understand. If there was no revelation, if there was no teaching, I would never be able to speak Chinese. I would never be able to reason in this way. For example, still it is valid. The revelation, the last revelation that we are experiencing in this world took place 1400 years ago. It has been in the market for 1400 years. No, more than 1400. Now 1450. It's interesting. It's before, when I was a child, we used to talk about 13. Now 1450. So 1400 plus years, there are some still people who are obstinate not to listen to the teacher, which teaches the Quran. And they say, we are going to find the solution for it. Right? What do? They turn blind to the teachings of the Quran. They claim that they will find it, teach the truth or the reality or the meaning of existence by themselves. They are still here.
I came back for the weekend.
Okay, well, I was surprised to see you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm pleased to see you. What do? Those people who don't listen to the teachings of the Creator, guidance of the Creator, it means really prophets, messengers. What do? How they interpret existence? In which conditions? What do they refer to the source of existence to where? You are studying philosophy. What do they refer?
Things themselves.
The things themselves, that's still the table made itself. So simple mind. Can they really prove that the things exist by themselves? Is there anything in the world? This is a very strong argument. Very strong argument. Is there anything in the world which subsides its own existence without being dependent on all of the order of the universe? How can they? It's human mind, it's simple. Simple. How they can explain it by themselves? They are bound to, they are obliged to follow the law. They don't have free will to choose. So they don't have the free will to give existence to themselves because they themselves need to be given existence which will follow the order of the universe and never act in contrary to the order. Which kind of self-existence? Self-existence, but not free will. Self-existence, but no choice. If you don't have a choice, how can you choose to exist? Man, you see, even in this age, researchers are developing, getting into the details, how sophisticated the universe is, how complicated the creation is. They are getting more and more in trouble how to explain this, which is happening within, especially within the subatomic world. They cannot. It's happening. Don't talk about it. It happens like this. Finish. They don't use their human mind. Why? Because they use it, what happens? And the prophets claim comes or is demonstrated that it is true what they teach. And they have to follow the prophet's teaching. somebody, I will follow in his eyes, I will follow an illiterate person. I am the professor of physics, biology. Yeah? But this man is an illiterate man. Can I follow this man? But he still thinks that this guidance is the teachings of Muhammad himself. Because he doesn't have the concept of a creator, because he blocked the way. We have to understand this. We are scientists. We can deal only within the conditions of the universe, according to the order of the universe, and we have to explain everything. Now, my simple example, now I am here with the book or this text. I have to explain the text within its own conditions. And well, there is a line here, there is a sign which says T and R and U and E. Oh, how can I say that it taken by chance like this to a meaningful word? Maybe the ink through this way, that way for billions of years, and then wrote the sentence. Once it happens, cannot be, of course can. They say if it happens only once, that's enough. It continues. Not the universe is continuously changing. We cannot attribute it to the paper and the ink and the movement of the ink. Excuse me, where do you find the paper? How do you explain the existence of ink? How do you explain the existence of wind? How do you explain the existence of movement of the wind? No. No answer. Well, we understand that these people, when they don't listen to teachings of the revelation presented to us through the prophets, cannot get the truth. Even they are genius people in their specific subject. They cannot get the truth. Just because they don't want to, just give a chance with what this illiterate prophet brought to us, claiming that it is from the creator of the universe, explaining the existence of the universe. Let me think about it. They don't give a chance because no, we are not interested in metaphysics. And they make up some words like chance, like nature, like by themselves, existing by themselves, and turn the materialist philosophy into a made-up, baseless, metaphysical materialism. You understand this? Metaphysical means chance. Chance is not in the universe. That's why it's metaphysics. Yeah? Nature. Apart from the matter, there's no nature. A law of the universe. No, the universe exists, not the laws. Where are the laws? They are metaphysical. So they attribute to the existence of the universe to nonsense metaphysical concepts made up by themselves. And it doesn't make sense. No human mind can approve it that the chance made the universe. Universe made itself. It's an oxymoron. Universe came into existence by itself. Excuse me? What are you talking? The thing came into existence by itself. Why? Huh? By itself? It didn't exist. It needed to come into existence. But something which doesn't exist will give existence to itself. That's the most stupid statement. And the most brilliant scientists are claiming their interpretation on this metaphysical, baseless, no evidence, no evidence of chance in the universe. And they said the universe came into existence by chance. Have you seen any chance in the universe? Something is acting on chance in the universe. Any? Can you tell me one, show one by chance without being subject to the law, principles of existence? No. How can you talk about chance? That doesn't exist. Non-existence doesn't exist. The things are coming from non-existence by themselves. Non-existence doesn't exist. How that which does not exist give existence to something which exists? I don't know. I don't know. It's so ridiculous. But they will have big trouble as a result of their obstinacy, because the discoveries of the order of the universe is becoming deeper and more complicated, sophisticated. They will say, impossible. That's definitely they will surrender. Definitely they will surrender. But I don't know this century, next century, but they definitely. The more research are going on in the order of the universe, they will become paralyzed. No, you cannot have it. Impossible, because chance doesn't exist in the universe. Non-existence doesn't exist in the universe. So you cannot explain the existence of the universe within the conditions of the universe itself. You have to refer the meaningful paper to its author, conscious, deliberate, intelligent author, with a free will to choose this, other, and that. We have to. No way out. That is the difference between guidance from the Creator and human beings themselves try to interpret the existence of everything within the conditions of the universe. Impossible. How the Quran makes it possible? This is a very important paragraph. The Quran makes it possible by giving examples which are observable, experiential for the five senses of the human being. Not reasoning, not feelings, no, five senses, the very, very senses which directly related to the conditions of this universe. Eye, nose, tongue. For example, if you taste nothing at all, will you ever become aware that your tongue is able to taste? Yeah. If you have no noise at all, will you be able to understand that these things here are made to hear? There's no voice. It means you are giving these five senses only to be used within the conditions of this universe. That's why Quran speaks to five senses. First, gives examples from there. It makes metaphors or parables, allegories from there, and helps people to make sense of what it is presenting to us as a solution to find out the answers to our very human questions. So these are abstract truths. We understand this, why the abstract truth. How can I believe abstract truth? How can I confirm the abstract truth? Yeah? No. That is how it is made, through the teachings of the Creator in the Quran. And the Quran, our subject is this. The Quran is brought to us by a man. Another man like you and me. And gives a perfect guidance to satisfy my inquiry about the source of my own existence, which is very human. Where did I come from? Why am I here? Where am I here on earth? and gives a satisfactory answer under the witnessing of the five senses experiences. So, as a principle, if someone tries to understand the Quran without referring to examples and parables or whatever there, a few students came into my by chance. No, somebody must have put it there, or I must have put it there somewhere. There is definitely cause. Without causality, it cannot be here by chance. Now, any attempt, now we are coming to the heart of the matter. Any attempt to explain the Quran without referring to five experiential examples, parables, or whatever you call them, comparisons to satisfy me as a human being through helping me to use my five senses. Yes? I have to use five senses in order to confirm the abstract truths of the Quran. Do you understand it? Shall I try to make it even simpler? If someone tries to explain the Quran, as far as the abstract truths are concerned, we always say and remind each other that these abstract truths consist of 97% of the Quran. Right? Now, it's everywhere. All these abstract notions, concepts, everywhere. It's taught. If someone tries to teach these abstract concepts, for example, believe in God, believe in the angels, believe in revelation, believe in the mission of some people employed by God, I don't know, I've never seen anybody, even the closest people to the prophets themselves, in the case of Muhammad, for example, he himself did not observe the revelation is coming from somewhere else. No, it is given, but he didn't know how it is coming. Is it coming by email or Instagram or whatever they call it, whatever, or, WhatsApp? How is it coming? Well, he doesn't know what's happening to him. Even himself, so abstract. But the one who receives it even doesn't know that it's coming to me from somewhere. But it happens to himself. And it is taught to him without seeing the material connection. For example, you sent me the email, I received it. I know that it is coming from satellites, through satellites and waves. And that's what I know, how it is coming to me. And I know that, okay, you sent me the email, and I'm responding back to you, and it will reach you in physical terms. But revelation cannot have any physical terms. And it doesn't matter. The person himself doesn't know. And the Quran says we have to believe it. Or explains how. Gives the examples and shows us the way how to reason, etc. But this is all the fundamental teachings of the Quran must be presented within the conditions of the human experience of the universe through five senses. It is next to impossible for some people if they don't open up. What they end up with, the Quran says, Quran is God's word. It's wonderful. It has lots of miraculous aspects in its Arabic form, literature form, So it must be from God. Muhammad cannot make it. So what it says, believe in the hereafter. It has miraculous aspects. So I have to believe in the hereafter. Why? Because Quran says so. Quran says, look, you have to experience it with your five senses within the universe, and use the examples there, comparisons there, parables there, and become convinced about the reality of my message. But the interpreters, commentators on the Quran says you have to believe. Contradiction. We have to, that is the problem of these people who claim that they are teaching the Quran. They say Quran's literature value is really peerless, so whatever it says must be true. But I'm not convinced about the existence of the hereafter, about the existence of angels, and how can I believe in it? Because this text says so. But I'm not convinced about it, so I cannot really bring this conviction into my practical life. I only say that Quran says there are angels, Quran says the eternal life will exist. That's why I believe in the eternal life which will exist, and I live this world as if I'm not practicing the eternal life in this world. Yeah, that's why the teachings of the Quran does not affect my life. It only brings me what? Rituals, ritualistic responsibilities. They call it religious duties. But the main religious duty is what? To believe in the truthfulness of the Quran as it was revealed by the creator of the universe, because there is no other way. And because it is brought to us by the employee appointed by the creator of the universe. And you have to make sense of it within the teachings of the Quran. And the Quran must be explained under the guidance of the material examples. Examples from this very world that we are living in, and communicating with it with our five senses. And some people say, no, you have spirit. But materially, with my five senses, I don't see the spirit, but I only understand that I don't consist of matter only. I have emotions or something. How come? What is that? And then Quran gives the example. It says there are in the universe order. You see the universe, but matter, but you don't see the order, but you conclude about the order. And order is taking place within the certain definite laws, but principles of creation. So within yourself, there are principles of creation in your being, so that you can conclude by observing the universe through using these qualities, which we call them what? Feelings. Yeah, human emotions. And these human emotions cannot be explained within the conditions of matter. Human expectations. Senseless matter cannot be the source of existence of human senses, because the matter itself is senseless. You follow that? So human beings have something not of the matter. And the Quran says this is the law of Amr. Amr, command, law. We call it law. Law of the Creator exists within. Not only matter, but something extra. as far as your human qualities are concerned. We have to watch out. When we try to understand the Quran, look for a teacher. Teaches you by explaining the Quranic teaching, referring it to subjects or matter which can be observable by 5 senses. That is very important in transport. Okay, somebody, I think that there were lots of questions, comments.
So, on the note of the 5 senses, for us to understand the Quran, do we have to use all of the senses to confirm it? I guess I'm asking because what about people who are born blind or born deaf? Are they not able to understand?
No, they are not responsible for it. So they, if they are born or became blind, they are not responsible for it. But in principle, there are exceptional cases. In principle, we are talking about the principle.
Okay.
Yeah. Quran speaks to human beings and brings through his speech or teaching, brings evidences addressing to 5 senses. How about the responsible of the person who doesn't have 1 or 2 of his 5 senses? That's a special case for this person. It doesn't really affect the transport of the Quran. So this person will not be able to see, for example, if he is blind. But it doesn't mean that the principle doesn't work. But the principle is different from practice.
Even in those cases, you're only responsible for as much as you have. So
You have been given.
right.
Yeah.
So if you don't have
Must be. Otherwise, I cannot be responsible if I'm not given. So can you give zakah on a capital which you don't have? Example, because
I'm really sorry, like, there is Egyptian writer,
so there is
Egyptian poetry.
addiction.
Egyptian.
Whatever it is. Yeah,
No,
because
he's a blind. He was a blind.
there's a man blind.
But he
There's
just like,
no
and
need
he knows the
addiction.
Quran cover to cover. And
Do you understand
he
the first? Just a minute, just stop. You don't have to think the Egyptian blind man. You say a blind man.
yeah.
It could be
I'm sorry.
a Turkmen or a Russian man.
Okay.
Why Egyptian? Yeah, don't specify. Don't
It's
give
happy
a
for
name.
him to be.
So a blind man, yeah, there is a blind man. Okay?
And it's like he knows the Quran cover to cover. You know,
No, he doesn't know. He memorized it.
memorized the Quran cover to cover.
Yeah,
He wrote like books about it.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that he understands it because he memorized it, but he must use other feelings.
Processed by like his conscience.
Sorry?
A process what he's understanding by his conscience.
By his?
conscious.
Yeah. But it doesn't mean that if you don't see, you cannot understand anything. We are talking about the principles. If you want to present the abstract concepts of the Quran, you have to refer to any evidence, any example which speaks to 5 senses. It's very important. But a specific case, a man is blind, we know that the people may be not seeing, but they can see with the, I would say,
Your other senses.
heat and color, the different colors emit different heat, so they can see through their other senses, really, or they get used to it. God gives compensation through something else. For example, some of my veins, main veins in my leg are blocked. What happens? Which kind of very fine veins. Sorry? Sorry?
Capillaries?
I don't know the word. What do you say?
Capillary?
I don't know, whatever it is. They start functioning instead of the vein. Do you understand? Replaces it. But it doesn't mean that This is a specific case. We are talking about the principles. It's a specific case of immense responsibility. It's not our concern here. We are talking about the principles. Any more?
So everybody has to use five senses to reach abstract concepts. But why
No.
it says the great majority of people?
No, look. Great majority, not everybody has to use. No. We are talking here the same confusion. We are talking about the principles practiced within the teachings of God's book, textbook. Now, it presents it at a very simple level, addressing to people, but it addresses the people in such a way that every single man can understand, regardless of their specialities. Now, the other people may be specialized in certain subjects, and they can really understand deeper messages in the creation. That's up to them. Use your abilities, because you don't consider human beings do not consist of five senses. We have endless senses. Five of them are very, if you like, obvious, interacting with the matter, outside matter, and trying to understand the meaning. For example, you understand the meaning not with your eye, not with your nose. You understand the meaning through your brain, if you like, or reasoning power. Reasoning power is not one of the five senses, but the data must be collected with the five senses, and the other processes must be done or performed by other senses, human senses. So you can collect the data with five senses and never reason about it. It means this person is not a human being. But the principle of the Quran is that it makes everything so simple for everyone. No one will have the excuse in them. I didn't know how to read Arabic. That's why I didn't understand the message. I couldn't really make sense of the belief in the hereafter or God. No one has the excuse. You don't have to know. Just somebody helps you by giving the example which addresses your five senses and asks you to use your other senses to make sense of it. But benefit from this comparison, from this allegory, the simile. The Quran is full of similes. Yeah, method, the simile in the Quran. This is a very fundamental principle, actually. We have to, if you speak to somebody, for example, he's not praying. Okay, you are the father, let's go about the father, and you want to make your child pray. They say that, look, we are Muslims, you have to pray. Yeah, it is against the principles of the Quran. Yeah, that's what we do as Muslims. It is against the principles of giving evidence that the child understands by using his five senses. So it is easy. How the Quran speaks. Oh, let the man think or reflect on what he is eating. Ask the child, here you are, that is your wonderful, what do you like? I like peaches, I don't know, they like bananas, potatoes. Okay. How do you think it is coming in places? Who is wrapped it? Who is painted it? Who put the delicious taste in it and prepared for you? The wood, let's go to the wood. Take him to the tree. What is the consciousness? It's a wood. What's going on in the earth? Let's go to the earth. See, water. What is that? Pour the water. Say, please water. Don't go down, but up. Why? Use your will, because you are going to decide about something that you are going to form life. Come on. Mix up with amino acid or something. That's what they make. It's not proven by the way. You know that
Amino acids.
amino acid.
Amino
Amino acid. Amino acid. And when it interacts with the light, it can be the source of light. It's not true. It's just somebody, yeah, there's something strange and a customer thing happening there, but nothing to do with the proof of being the source of life at all. But it is presented as if, yeah, it is possible. Why? It's the amino acid. Amino acid, when it interacts with the light, something strange happens. It may be the cause of life. But scientifically proven? No. If it was, they would produce life. Where is it? Stupid. Cheating, really. Using the people's ignorance about biology or the microbiology. Because I don't know microbiology. When they present something to me at the microscopic level, I don't know, this is an expert, but he says I must accept. It's an exploitation of the ignorance of the people. That's what the Quran doesn't do that. Quran always speaks under the witnessing of the universe that can be experienced by human beings. That's what we have to do. We have to follow this. If we say that I'm going to understand the Quran, okay, ask the question, what is the evidence for it? What are you saying? And apply it to yourself. It is difficult, it needs teacher. Yeah, it needs teacher guidance again. That's why the Quran is not set as a book, as a book without teacher, in human form. That's why people learn from the teachings of the Prophet and carry on the teaching sequence. And in the course of time, the teaching becomes more and more detailed. Right? The teaching of the Prophet himself, the Prophet's teaching of the Quran himself took place within his life conditions and at the level of the people he was speaking to. And these people were ummi. It was illiterate. That's what we have to understand, that the Prophet spoke and presented this case to the ummi people like this. What I am speaking to these people here, they are not ummi. They can count. They can measure, and they can think deeply. They have much more evidence. So I have to adapt the prophetic teaching to the conditions of my life. But the principles of teaching, don't confuse the people, get irritated and frustrated. So are we going to change the rituals according to the life condition? We are not talking about the 3% of the Quran. We are talking about the abstract concepts of the teaching of the Quran. People get always, when you say that we have to adapt the teachings of the Prophet. This is a modernist trying to adapt for example, 5 times and turn it into 3 times, because in the life conditions of the New York life condition, it is very difficult to pray 5 times a day, make it 3, because we are adapting it. We don't mean that. We don't be frightened about it. So these are different. That's why at the beginning we emphasized on one point. What was it? Are the fiqh rules, rituals presented to us in the Quran based on abstract concepts? These are different. Now they must be dealt with differently. We are talking about abstract concepts, right? how the Prophet taught, for example, how the Prophet taught people when they ask, they wonder about something. If you read the Hadith collections, the Prophet was speaking to people in a very, very extremely simplistic level. And using the metaphors always. I have taken up 7 heavens in a second. I have experienced such and such, such and such. I have seen the Adam and the Abraham and Moses, and in 1 second or 1 minute. Huh? What? But that's how the people understood this. That if he did not present it into a concrete form, they wouldn't understand. But not necessarily the physical or spiritual, we are not talking about this. We are talking how the Prophet was speaking to people at their own level. So I have to speak to people now at their own level. That is Sunnah. Speaking to people according to their capacity is Sunnah. Not repeating the same example to the 21st century people is not Sunnah, it's stupid. That's the confusion. But a very, very widely used confusion. Eh? Very widely practiced confusion. Okay. We have a few minutes left. What shall we do? Shall we read one more paragraph? What do you think?
Let's do it.
If you have any concern, any question, anything troubles you, please put it out and put me in a trouble with your complicated questions. I love it. I will deal with the question if I don't know the answer until next week, Saturday. Only thing I will think about. Only the matter I am thinking will be that problem that I have no answer. It is my question. It becomes my problem. So don't hesitate. Put me in a trouble. I love it because it makes me, it stimulates me to think about it. And I must find the convincing answer for myself. Okay.
False supposition and a reminder.
Yeah.
Every act, word, and states of God's noble messenger, on him be peace and blessings, show his truthfulness as clearly as the sunlight.
It is a claim. Yes? Yeah, but he is going to make another point here. Yeah.
But it is not necessary that every act or state of his should be extraordinary.
Yeah, but because the message he brings to us is extraordinary. Not because it brings the meaning of the universe. Ordinary is the universe, but meaning of the universe is referring to something beyond the limits of this universe. So it must be extraordinary. So, but human mind can understand.
I don't think I follow. If the matter is referring to a meaning, why does it have to be extra? Like I understand, like the meaning is not extra.
No, but it is not necessary that every act or state of his, act of state, physical things, should not be or is not expected to be extraordinary. For example, when we get hungry, we need to eat, but Prophet doesn't eat. That's extraordinary and sustains his health. For example, if I want to go somewhere, I got on the camel and it takes me 3 days of journey, 4 days of journey to go from Mecca to Medina, and Prophet calls it a 1 minute. always, always. It doesn't need the camel or anything. It just, I want to go to the garden, I am there. Not extraordinary. You understand? There's no but. It will say but. Okay.
This display of something extraordinary only serves the proof of a claim.
Oh, that's an important but. Or there are some actions or some things in the life of the prophet observed by many people, all the people lived around. These things are extraordinary. This is not an example for you and for me, for the people, that you should do it in this way. For example, when he is hungry, he used to eat. That's an example for me. When I am hungry, I must eat. It's a sunnah. When you are thirsty, you have to drink. So when I am thirsty, I have to drink. It is sunnah of the prophet. This is normal life. So he practiced this. But when it comes to extraordinary things that he performed in his life, is not an example for me to follow.
Can you give an example?
For example, the prophet, the people were out of the city and they didn't have water. So they ran out of water and they need water in the middle of the desert. And the prophet sent servant running like a stream. Can I do that as well? Because the prophet did so. Run doesn't come. So it is for another purpose. It is for the purpose of the claim he made. What did he make? Claim. I am the prophet. I am the messenger. I am appointed by the Creator. What? Really? How can I know? Look, the Creator is changing the order. Only the Creator can change the order who established it, which he established. So only the one who established the order can make a change in the order. By changing the order, so you see, the Creator of the universe is letting you know that, look, I am truthful. I'm telling the truth because I attribute my mission to the Creator of the universe. So the Creator of the universe is showing as if, you know how to say, twinkle of the twinkling. The eye is correct. See what I'm doing? Yeah. This is for only to confirm the claim of the prophet, not to be taken as an example for us. It is not the teaching. For example, somebody comes and says, I am the FBI members. Okay, welcome. But how do I know that you are? But what he does? He shows his badge. Right? I know you can see the badge, you can take the number and call the FBI. Do you have an agent with this number? Confirm it. You can do that. But it shows the badge. It doesn't mean that we have to show the badge as well. No. And then we say, okay, what do you say now? You are authorized. So these miracles, extraordinary events, which are called miracles, are the badge of authorization. They understand the difference? Okay.
So I have two questions. One, so the way that I get to this proof, if you will, or this claim, and now at this moment, I'm speaking from my personal perspective, it's just, again, perhaps in forms of narrations. I'm not talking about can it happen, I'm talking about did it happen. And if I'm talking about that, it's coming to me in the same form of narrations, which we were earlier studying as like maybe the prophet said those words, or those are quoted in form of similes and metaphors and other parables. So, like, no, the example that you said, like,
this is narration. You don't have to believe. No.
Yeah.
You don't have to, because it has nothing to do with you now, because you don't see it.
Sure. Yeah.
It's just narration. It doesn't bother you. It doesn't bother me to whether it's true or not. None of my business. My business is to see his claim within his message. Whether this message can be made up by this a man of 7th century or not. I am not responsible. That you know that Muhammad, what did he do? Oh, he pointed out his finger and the moon became split. Right? There are other interpretations, by the way. We only hear this interpretation. There are other as well, but they are not common. Yeah, that's why he was a prophet. I have seen it. I don't know. It concerns only what? Those people who believe it, who were present there, right? Because those people's conditions were different from ours. First, the revelation was not complete. The second, they were just seeing the man, not really studying the revelation in the case, only hearing some sentences narrated from him, partially, but they depended mostly, you may not hear this, most of the companions of the prophet depended on the miraculous presentations or demonstrations. Wow, this one is extraordinary. I must take it seriously. Right? Because he sometimes, occasionally, presents miracles. That's why they could trust his claim. They didn't have the Quranic study circles and then went into deep study of the Quran. There was no book anyways that time, only the narrations, oral narrations, memorizations, partial. So they were, some of them, very few, very handful of the companions were really studying the Quran, but not in Meccan period. In Medinian period, the established, how do you say, the administration of Muslim community was established. People became more civilized now. They were presented with the text to study the first time, especially the Bedouin Arabs came to know that there is a messengership, there is a message. They didn't know, they only know that the universe must have a creator. He is the Lord of Kaaba. That's it. That's our, how do you say, ark. Well, are you on meter? Are you on meter?
Yeah.
Okay, I understand. Okay. Patriarch Abraham, they loved Kaaba because some other reasons as well, not for religious reasons, and from hearing from their ancestors that there is something created the world which is called God, and that's it. No hereafter, never. They never occurred to them that the people there is hereafter, and there are messengership. There's the message of God. Nothing. They were done ignorantly, and these people cannot be convinced because of the message of the Quran, the treatment of the Prophet, and the miracles of the Prophet. So it is not related to you. You don't have to believe the narration as if, no, I'm sure it happened on people. But you are sure when you study the Quran because it is in your hand. That's why the Muslim scholars, what do they say? Most of the Muslim scholars agree that the living miracle of the Prophet is the Quran. The others, as far as I am concerned, dead. Okay. Okay, we can hurry up. Inshallah. We can hurry up. Extraordinary. It is very important only to serve the proof of a claim, Prophet's claim to be employed by the creator of the universe. That is the claim. So that time the people needed miracles. There was no other way to be convinced what he's saying. Of course, what they liked we have to know that, not the teachings of the Quran. Prophet's insistence on the human equality, abolition of the slavery, and no superiority and chieftains that we have to obey. Everybody is equal. Even the administrator of the Medina community, which became larger now because of the people who are interested in the teachings of Muhammad, migrated to Medina. The population became larger, and of course the population became larger. They became richer as well. So they like this idea, freeing themselves from the shackles of the chieftains, or especially the slaves. They loved it. They didn't show it in Mecca because their masters were going to kill them, torture them. Otherwise, the Quran says, we didn't let you go to Mecca and smash them down because that you may harm among them. There's a verse, among them without knowing that they are believers. You may kill some believing people. That's why when Muhammad returned to Mecca, there was no war. Because no one knew, first of all, the conditions were all right, and also why it didn't happen before. If they came here warring with the Meccans, there were many people there who agreed the teachings of the Prophet, but cannot expose it because of their low status in the society. It's very important. So we don't know who is believer, who is not believer. So you cannot really jump over the people there if it is not necessary. Okay, to defend yourself. Yeah.
For this reason, when there is no need for such a thing, the Prophet leads in.
No, such a thing is extraordinary evidence for to prove the mission is given to him by the creator of the universe. That's for a reason, yeah.
Prophet leads his normal life in accordance with God's laws that are
like you and me. Like you and me, he has to travel to Medina in 4 days. He has to run away from the danger. Like me, he has to protect himself. Like me, he has to work. His profession was shepherd. His early life. So he has to go and do this job, take care of the herd, and so we'll be paid. Like you and me. Okay?
For this reason, when there's no need for such a thing, the Prophet leads his normal life in accordance with God's laws that are applicable to everyday life.
Yeah, for everyone. Yeah.
He must do so because he is a leader for his community in everyday life.
Yeah. But otherwise, I cannot take the miraculous events took place as it is claimed by the historical narrations as an example for me. It is contrary to my reality. I cannot take. Today is 13th. Okay. Thank you. We have to go, I think. So, yeah, we have to go. It is really late. Okay, inshallah, I see you next Wednesday. 11:43. Sorry? Yeah. Bismillah. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. آخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.